it down through efficient. We are then able to align together and form one aligned infrastructure of data and allows hotspot identification. Which processes is it that leads to greater fragmentation? How can we identify that through the data we have collectively and then work with those suppliers to reduce it? I want to pick up on something that Alana mentioned this morning. We are the bridge between deep academic research and the commercial reality of the supply chain. And through a partnership with Northumbria University and Impact Plus, we have opened the Fibre Fragmentation and Environmental Research Hub. And this really allows us at TMC to take it to a step further. As a researcher, I really want to get my hands dirty on the research projects, and this really allows us to do that. It gives us access to testing equipment as well as the depth and breadth of expertise across the university and in particular in the impact team. So look out for our work that's coming through there. And we are a resource centre. Please, if you can, the QR code will take you to our resource pages on the TMC website, where almost all, to date anyway, of our resources are freely available for you to use and download. In conjunction to the report that we are developing on root cause understanding, one of which it will be forthcoming next month, so please look out for that. We also have guidance for manufacturers that you can share within your supply chain. We have snapshot guidance to make things a little simpler. And we also have developed, again in conjunction, or hosted on the ZDA of fibre fragmentation and provide them with details of what can be done to reduce it. So let me finish with a call to action. This is an issue, an environmental issue on a scale that is unimaginable, and we're only going to achieve it by coming together in collaboration. You can do that in a number of ways. To get to the heart of this, we really need to get to the supply base and work with you as suppliers to undertake that research to really drive that root cause understanding the issue, because that's where we need to start fundamentally. And if you can, if you're a brand or a retailer or a supplier, you want to join us and the collective effort that we're putting together to address this problem. Finally, just another plug to reinforce the sustainability issue that myself, Dr. James and Professor Pearson Smith are co-editing, which is out at the moment. If you have any topics that you would like to share as part of that journal, a special edition which is on the environmental impact assessments and how it can inform a circular fashion future, please do reach out to one or the two of us. And with that, I'll say thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sheridan. I didn't even have to use my bell. That was beautifully timed. And I'm now going to ask if anybody has we're going to have time for one question. Any questions? No questions? Well, there's a great opportunity to catch up with Dr. Sheridan throughout the conference at the sessions, at the tea sessions. Thank you. And now, I'd like to call up to the stage Mr. Sehail Ali Naqvi from WWF Lahore.
Thank you very much, everybody. And again, I really want to congratulate all the organizers and all the people who are in the room, for the successful sessions. So this is my fourth time I'm going to present here. I'm lucky I used to present every forum. And thanks to Dr. Yasser and all Dr. Muzammil and all the crew. So this time my topic is slightly different. Like WWF being the conservation organization, our focus has been on the biodiversity, conservation and others. And last year I presented some of the sustainable solutions in the textile, how it is linked with the environment, with the nature. This time the topic might be a bit dry, but I just wanted to highlight some opportunities in the context of the developing countries and in Pakistan, like how we can highlight. So the climate change is not a new definition for the vulnerable people, like we are sitting here in Pakistan. Recently, we are facing a partial drought situation. And 2 years back, if you remember in 2022, 2.5 years back, so there was an extreme flood. 1/4 of the country was underwater, and several crops, including cotton, was really affected by that. So that's why, there was a lot of debate right after that. What should be the sustainable practices? What should be the alternate if the climate change is continuously hitting these countries where the supply chain exists? So keeping that in mind, there were different discussions, and water is considered one of the major raw material used in the manufacturing, being in the agriculture or in the agro-based economy. If you see the water availability in Pakistan since 1950s, per capita water availability is decreasing. Population is one of the major factors, but there are multiple factors as well. So right now, unfortunately, we are having less than 900 cubic meter of the water on annual basis per capita. This is also an alarming, or we fall under the water-stressed countries list. So on one side, water is important for us, but one of the major challenges for a country like Pakistan is the water management. As I mentioned, like we are used to the flash flooding, we are used to the hail torrents with the water, but we can't save that water. There are multiple reasons we don't have like reservoirs to restore that, but there are also other reasons in terms of the implementation of our existing policies. So this is the reason we are facing climate change is one factor, but the management is one of the other area where we really need to see. I just copied those slides from Engineering University professor slides, where they did an analysis of the precipitation change in the region, particularly in Pakistan. In the northern areas, you can see initially the rainfall was considered 380 millimeter, but now the trend is changing, and if it continues, we will be having shortage of the water because the ice will be melting from the glaciers, and it will be really heating because the temperature is rising. So there are some predictions the temperature will be rising if business as usual will be happening. We have been talking about 1.5 degrees Celsius, but unfortunately in Asia the temperature might be higher than 1.5 degrees Celsius at the end of this century if business as usual happens. How textile is important and how the climate change is impacting. I think the people who are sitting in the room and who are dealing with the supply chain, particularly the farming community, they already have discussions with their farmers how the crops are affected right now. As I mentioned, it's a drought season. The crop shifting is also happening right now. Like the weather shifting is there. The time when the crops were assumed to be mature, right now it's shifting. Either it's premature, the seed is not in good quality. Right now, for example, the wheat season is there, but we are facing the challenges, and the same we experienced in the cotton last years as well. This is one thing in terms of the raw material, but on the other side, if we see how important is the cotton being the natural fiber, and how much emissions we are creating. There are some figures, I just also copied from some of the literature, but some of the studies mentioned like The emissions from the textile is more than 42,000 million metric tons of CO2 equivalent. This is the carbon footprint. These are the emissions and the carbon footprint. But stats are there. They might be increasing. But the thing is, how we have to face that. How we can move forward. So I'll not go into the detail of the sustainable practices, because there have been a lot of discussions, the alternate fiber, the recycling, reuse of the material. The solutions exist there. But one of the challenge, a country like Pakistan, is the financial mechanism. The climate finance, then the definition of the climate finance jumps in there. This is something, we have been discussions with the State Bank of Pakistan as well. We do have our own green banking guidelines since 2017, but most of the time the businesses could get benefit only in terms of the alternate energy, like the solar power systems, and that's it. There's a lot of potential how the sustainable practices, particularly in the textile sector, can be installed or through these different kinds of the revolving funds or the cycles. So there are different tools into the market. I just wanted to give you a few examples on that. Right now there's an initiative by WWF, UAE and Ajman University Islamic Fund for Climate and Development. So this is something which WWF and some of the experts, they are working on the climate finance, some of the models, the tools which they are going to introduce, investing directly into the among the communities and the stakeholders. In Pakistan, there's a lot of opportunity in the textile, because we did that experiment, we did the feasibility study, and there are some of the areas where that could be promoted. There is another terminology I just used, PFCD, Dutch Fund for Climate Development. We are already working here. It's also a Dutch funding in collaboration with a couple of financial institutions who are giving loans for the developing countries or the vulnerable countries, where different kinds of the initiatives can be replicated. Actually, after the Kyoto Protocol and after the post-Paris Agreement, some of the financial cycles were introduced, just like the Green Climate Fund, GCF. Pakistan is one of those countries who has got the funding for that, but that was on the adaptation side. Global Environment Facility is also there, GEF is there, on the basis of which we can also work on the mitigation side. So these are some of the areas. It's not the rocket science, to be very honest. Our existing policies and the global commitments, if we see and align, we can see some of the commonalities on the basis of which we can reach out. I can just quote the example of some of the studies we conducted in collaboration with different institutions like the Adelphi from a German company. Green financing mechanism, what are the loopholes in there, like either it's in terms of the capacity building, how to diversify that and how to improve that. For example, we just conducted that from the textile and the leather perspective as well. Like, what are the areas in which green financing can be invested? And these are the areas where the small and medium enterprises, they are really struggling. They really want to do something, but they don't have those the financial capital to invest in. So these kinds of the fundings or these kinds of the tools could help us in how we can expand our existing work in different, how we can diversify. I can just quote an example. There was another proposal on which we have been working, unfortunately it couldn't mature, but that was something, there's also a revolving fund, because Pakistan has been facing the energy crisis, including the textile. So we work very closely with the Ministry of Energy, like the National Energy Efficiency Conservation Authority, and developed a revolving fund tool where some of the financial institutions, the commercial banks, they can jump in and they can engage some of the ESCOs, energy supply companies, who can also be a part of that, and they provide the energy to the businesses on the different. So that's the mechanism. It might be a bit complicated, sorry for that, but I will show you that presentation. It's already with the organizers. You can get that presentation and can study in detail. I already mentioned about the Debt Fund for Climate and Development. I'll be discussing on that. There is a funding which is the seed money, on the basis of which a detailed feasibility is conducted and then a detailed proposal is developed. We did that experiment in the aquaculture in Karachi, and now looking forward developing something for the textile processing mills. For example, if you want to install the biomass-based boiler, if you want to install the caustic recovery plant. So these kinds of the funding streams can provide you an opportunity where industry, private sector, local financial institutions can, develop and design something. WWF will be happy to support you, and we can come up with the, with the financial model, and then businesses can run that. So there are some pockets you can also visit on our webpage and on the DFCD website, like what are the limits for that. But in a nutshell, I'll just conclude my presentation. Just wanted to give you another perspective. On one side, we are facing the climate change. The other area, we are one of the major stakeholders into the climate change. We need sustainable practices. And the last important component is the financial mechanism, or how to enroute those financial capital into these sectors, and then we can come up with a sustainable model and sustainable manufacturing in our businesses. So thank you very much for listening to me. I know the presentation was quite dry, but we'll be happy to take questions at the end of the session. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And now we will move on to our next presentation, which is Mr. Lian Sajil-Sehale, Green Story Pakistan.
Hello. Yeah, it's quite loud. So I hope after lunch you guys are not sleepy. So, hi, my name is Sajil Sohail and I'm representing Green Story. We are a Dutch company, and huge shout out to Deputy Ambassador for taking his time out and attend this session. And thank you so much, Anika, for coordinating this for us. So, moving on, what is a digital passport and what is Green Story is all about? That is what my presentation is all about. So at the moment we are working with more than 200 plus suppliers and brands, and Lululemon is one of the biggest brands which we are working with. Trident Group in India, which is one of the biggest manufacturers of towels. Then we have Genius Textile, AGI, Farfetch, Sapphire, all of these people from the suppliers to the brand. So we are connected with everyone. And our data is accepted by Walmart, Marks & Spencer, Target, Zara, and H&M. So we are connected throughout the globe. We have our partners, some of them are sitting with us like Impact Plus, and we are working with IBM in USA in order to make our system work using artificial intelligence. So we are also going to do that. Apart from that, we are doing a lot of work in India. India right now is taking a lead in this space. I was told yesterday by the Green Story founders that DPP is going to be a national thing in India. They are investing a lot in this space, and they are going to provide around $50 million in order to provide subsidy to their manufacturers. So I would really appreciate it if someone in this in attendance can help us out to get the grants from the Pakistan Textile Ministry. And we were featured in most of the reputable publishers like Forbes, CNN has mentioned us, Sourcing Journal mentions us all the time. So why do we exist? Because in 2023, there was a lot of regulations were drafted, and and the most important one was ESPR regulation. And the ESPR regulation, the nucleus of it is that you need to have a digital product passport if you want to sell anything in EU. And if you don't have that, there's going to be a lot of penalties, and penalties can range from 50,000 euros, or it can be like a percentage of your revenue. So now this draft has been approved in 2024, and by 2026 it's gonna be implemented throughout. In 2027 it will be like mandatory to all the brands and all categories. So now the problem is that ESPR is one of the regulations, but there is a regulation, so nami karega. And the whole point is like, who is going to pay for it? And that's the major thing, because as you know that there is a concept called donor fatigue. And there is also a concept where a supplier is so exhausted because first we did ISO things, then we did Hague Index, and we did GOTS, and we are forced to do so many recycle, and so many initiatives are going on. So as you can see, there are so many regulations which are coming up, but the most important one of them is this Green Claims Directive, which is like for the EU and UK, and ESPR, and the DPP, which is going to be implemented in 2026. Okay, so these are the two key things which are right at our doorsteps. It is like directives on green claims. So if you're not going to get it, you're going to be fined, and a percentage of your revenue will be also be fined. H&M was fined this year for it. I think the fine is around like 5 million euros or something like that. So what they're saying in the Green Claims Directive is that you have to substantiate your green claims with evidence. The claim should be clear, truthful, and third-party verified. And and in the ESPR, there are key takeaway from it is that your eco-friendly product design and transparent product data should be there, and you should have a TPP, Digital Product Passport, which is going to replace your care label with a simple QR code. I'm going to show you that QR code later on in my presentation, so kindly be ready with your cell phones. So what is Digital Product Passport? Digital Product Passport is actually empowering consumer and businesses to make informed choices. So when you are going to scan that QR code, you will know that how your product was made and how much damage it has done in order to make that product, and how much carbon offset you have to do in order to make that product carbon neutral. And so the key requirement for it is that the product information should be digitized, there should be transparent standards, and it should be integrated with your supply chain. So the benefit of TPP is that it will give you a real-time monitoring of what you're doing. It gives you like a seasonal scalability, like from today if you're doing something and from next day it's going to expand. So Green Story and TPP is going to help you in order to monitor all your inputs and outputs in real time. Okay. Moving on, if you guys can take out your cell phone and scan this QR code. I hope the internet is working. If it's working, it's going to open it over here also. Okay. So this is a DPP of a basic t-shirt. Okay, so I'm sorry. So, sorry, having some technical issues. We will get there. So this is a footprint which we are producing by manufacturing one t-shirt. We are using around 4.13 meter cube of wood, water consumption. We are doing around 154 kilowatt of energy consumed, 7.53 kilogram of carbon dioxide was consumed. Then it will have your, all your care instructions. Then it will have your, all the data of your performance test, and it will tell you that how you can offset it. So it is quite comprehensive. As far as I know, the system I saw from the Green Story, they have like more than 400 data points which you can input in order to generate this QR code. It even includes like the transport system. Like if you're transporting goods from one factory to the another, you also have to take account of that data. Okay, so how much time does it take to really implement this DPP and NCA? So what is DPP actually? We can only do DPP if we have the life cycle assessment of a product. If we have done the life cycle assessment of a product, which I have just shown you to you guys, then you can make a DPP, which is a QR code. So in order to do it, you just need like a month in order to do the baseline assessment of your product. You can have it. Like there are different data points, and after that, you know, in 2 and 3 months, you will be enabled in order to do your own QR codes. Because the main question which everyone asks me is that, you know, Sajid, we have so many SKUs in our brands. We have around, let's say, cute t-shirt in 10 colors and one jeans in like 15 different styles. So do we have to generate QR code for everything? Yes, we do have to generate QR code for everything, because most of the data points they share are similar supply chain. So what is Green Story is going to do? So Green Story is here to provide you the solution. We are literally going to be your partners. We are going to walk you through. We want to help you navigate the regulations, and after this, you know, what we are doing is that we are trying to enable most of the Pakistan SMEs and the large groups by signing an MOU with the National Compliance Center, so that we can provide subsidies to the most suppliers of Pakistan. So let's hope for the best. Okay, so why Green Story? Because we have one of the most renowned scientists, Dr. Kanan Muthu. If you Google him, you will realize that most of the work done in the LCA space is done by Dr. Kanan Muthu. He is based in Hong Kong, and he has over 190 books on LCA and DPP. He has written 300 plus articles on it. So yeah, this is like we are very, very deep into this DPP thing. Okay. So if you are going to go with Green Story, any of the suppliers, if you want to go with Green Story, it will give you a competitive edge, because we are also working with European Union. We have all the credibility, and we have a very big team in order to help you. And most of our customers are very happy with our work. As you can see, we have different testimonials from different companies around the world, and this is it, I guess. And if you want to know anything else about us, please scan the QR code and you will know. Thank you so much. I'm Sajil. I'm representing Green Story in Pakistan. Please reach out to me if you need any help or if you need any consultation. We will really happy to help you. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Thank you.
And now we have Mohammed Abdullah from Elevate.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdullah and I'm leading this project, Global Trace Protocol, on the behalf of LRQA. Actually, my boss, Mr. Jeffrey Miller, he has to come and he has to join this session. but he could not come due to the certain reasons. So that's why I'm going to present on that how sustainability is important, sustainability with the help of traceability. So we are doing this project in Pakistan on a cotton product, and basically we are providing the solutions to the brands, and in collaboration with the key stakeholder who are doing work at the cotton products. And we are also giving them the solution that how they can trace their product from cotton farm to the finished product. This project is funded by the US Department of Labor, and we are doing this project in Pakistan and in the Congo. In the Congo, we are doing the same practices on a cobalt supply chain, whereas we are doing project in cotton in Pakistan. So actually, on a whole supply chain, which started from the cotton farm, we are working on the labor rights, especially on the child labor and the forced labor at the cotton farm and throughout the supply chain from farm to the finished product. And we are also providing a tool which is a GTP tool, Global Trace Protocol. Basically, the objective of this project is to produce a special, unique tool, user-friendly tool through which each brand or each manufacturer can trace their product traceability from throughout the supply chain. We are also creating a very user-friendly tool so that everyone can use it easily, like a farmer whose education, basically in Punjab and Sindh, the education level is very low, especially with the farmer community. They can also use that tool, and even the textile manufacturer and the brand, they can also use that tool. So we are focusing the upstream and the downstream, and providing the whole products supply chain traceability. So this is how we work, and we start the project from the cotton farm, and then we will move to the ginners and spinner and the finished product. So how it works actually, for each stakeholder, like the farmer and the ginner and the spinner and the textile mill owner, there is a specific dashboard for each stakeholder, and they can open up and they can transfer their data. They can also transfer the cotton and the data, how it moves from the farm to chain to spin, and then spin to the finished product. So in Pakistan, when we start work at the farm level, we have a collaboration with Reeds Pakistan. It's a local NGO in Pakistan. They are doing work at the cotton farm level. They have their specialty to do work at the cotton farm level, and they have actually a very good strength at the farm level. So they are monitoring the farm level. They just start this process from the cotton cultivation, and from each stage of the cotton crop, they are gathering the data from each stage, like from the cultivation, then the pesticide application, then the picking and the harvesting. So we have all the data, and we monitor in all phases, the child labor and the forced labor, especially the child labor and forced labor on a supply chain. So in this project, actually, right now we are doing the second phase of this project. In the first phase, we are doing work on a different technology. In the first phase, we apply the DNA marker at the genetic stage on a cotton fiber, and then we trace the whole product in the finished product, and we successfully done that first phase of the project. But now we are doing the same practices, but with the different technology, that is isotope testing. And now our cotton is transferred into the yarn, and we are getting the sample from each stage and sending to the lab for the isotope testing. So this is the second method for the traceability, that is isotope testing, and we are that is in progress, and we will share its update by the end of maybe April. We could be able to complete that phase as well. So, and in the meanwhile, we also have a collaboration with the Responsible Sourcing Network (RSN), and RSN developed a standard that is called YES, Yarn Ethically Sustainable Source. This standard also focuses on a force level at the spinning level and as well as at cotton farm level. So we have a collaboration with them, and we are implementing YES standard in spinning industry, especially our partner, and they are doing work on the traceability. And they are doing all the phases of this project very successfully. And we are doing work in Pakistan with Nishad, MG Apparel, and Artistic Millionaire in the second phase of this project. And it's if we talk about the tool, it's very easy if you want to have to export the PDF file at any stage, to show the data, to check the data, to verify the data. You can verify at each stage. Either it's a former, it is a giner or a spinner or a mill manufacturer. So there is a tailor-made scoring sheet in the tool as well that highlight the indicators about the child labor. Basically, that is high, medium, and low risk categories. If there are chances of child labor or forced labor, it can indicate to the all supply chain actors that there is some problem at this stage. So you have to resolve it as early as possible. And the next step in this in the project, we are going to have a collaboration with Lotex very soon. And because after the life of this project, we want to have a sustainability of this tool. And basically, it's a free tool that is available on GitHub, Department of Labor, and it will be freely available for everyone, for each industry and each brand after the life of this project. And the next is we are also going to have a collaboration and have a sustainability center at PCGA, Pakistan Cotton Giner Association. So these are the steps in which we are going to have in the next future. And I think this is the end of my presentation. If you have any question on that, please.
Thank you. And our next speaker, I invite up to the stage is Dr. Colleen Mahmood from Sabah. Okay. Do we have Mr. Imran Ashkar from Applied Trace Technologies? Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Imran. Today I am talking about nanotechnology tracing textile. This is a core project I am working at the moment globally. So, nanotechnology in textile, we as a textile professional know that we use this technology since ages to improve fabric quality, fabric durability, finishes, hand feel and strength, etc. So when we were working on the traceability project back in 2015, between 2015 and 18, we thought that how we can use this technology to turn into textile traceability, because one reason that is we choose a natural ingredient that can turn into as a tracer, and the second one, the natural ingredient doesn't have any chemical reaction on the human body or any reaction on the textile processing and the finishes, etc. So today topic would be the importance of nanotechnology overview, and nanotechnology as a tracer of textile industry, and then nanotechnology as fiber trace, that how we are tracing the textile and the cotton and fiber and the raw material. So this is basically our company quote in terms of promoting that increasing regulatory and investment pressure means you must know and ensure that the fiber in your product indeed that what is you are selling represent it or you are reporting. That's more related to Green Deal and Green Claim or under UFLPA and due diligence regulation, etc. So these are the little overview about the fine that in the past a couple of brands have paid just because of the false claim that made by the supply chain or that was misrepresenting the supply chain. So 63% demand gap between sustainable fiber and the supplies where it's come under organic. Everybody knows that organic fraud that happened back in between 2019 to 2020. And even though 2022, there are a couple of mills got banned just because of the fake claim for the organic and sustainable cotton. So importance of nanotechnology, as I thought, like we are using this technology since ages for the textile to improve fiber, yarn and fabric quality. Even in the protective safety product for the fire safety and the hospital gone and patient gone, these technologies are being used to improve and protect the personalities. For the finishing side, stain resistant, water repellent, fire retardant, this kind of technology we are using. Nanotechnology as a tracer that we are using, it's a rare earth ceramic that we turn into as a pigment that can sustain up to 1700 centigrade. It's a natural material that being act as a tracer. What look like this kind of the dust particle you can see on the screen on the right side. These are the rare earth ceramic. Why we choose this ceramic to turn as a tracer for the textile industry? They were a thought back of my mind because I have done a really intensive work when I was working for CNA for organic supply chain integrity, and we got a lot of the supply, they are claiming that organic, but it was not. So we went for a synthetic solution, but synthetic solution or DNA marker using on organic, it's another complication related to ISO IVA 32 standard, which state that organic cotton or should not contain any genetically modified organs. So that's we dropped that one. So the reason one of choosing this ceramic was to ensure that it's not impacting on the sustainability claim. Whenever DNA extraction will happen, it will declare as a dust particle, not as a genetically modified organs. The second is the long lasting, it's not getting washed out during the washing process. This technology can sustain up to 1700 centigrade, means that any kind of textile process that can easily pass, and that would be after recycling, even those material would be traceable from the first point of origin. Demand and regulatory compliance to maintain integrity related to this regulatory requirement. This we are adding at the point of origin. For example, in the cotton phase, we are adding in ginning stage. In recycled polyester, we are adding this material at a master batch level. From there, it will contain and become the part of material, as a part of material DNA. So that's not removable. The second, long-lasting, even you can burn out that material which was marked with the fiber trace. From the ashes we can trace that these material point of origin, supply chain, each and every step we can see on our blockchain platform that where it actually comes. So the overview is like it's a nanoparticle, is easy to install, eco-friendly, no harmful impact on the human body or environment, reducing the cost and waste of production. Rethink, redesign, particularly this technology gives a designer an opportunity to develop one product and they can claim that after recycling the same material they are using into the new product. So this is really a reverse solution, natural based ingredient that doesn't have any negative impact on the environment or worker or working conditions. So benefit of nanotechnology, closed loop traceability in terms of from the point of origin to recycle, remake and reuse, and then handheld information, real-time verification through handheld devices. Then consumer engagement. With this technology we integrated into our blockchain, means wherever this tracer yarn or fabric are being operated and audited, those data will be captured through our blockchain by auditing, and then it will be visible to entire supply chain. For example, the spinner will have a full visibility of the ginner, their location, their certification and practices, and similar the fabric manufacturer will have visibility of the spinning unit and the ginner as well. And at the end of the supply chain, brand will know the entire supply chain, their practices, their number of operations, their ESG reporting, Hague Index data, like sustainable goods and other supply chain. Those will be visible to brand, and ultimately, when the consumer will have product, they will have access to those information. So these are the core timelines that when we have started this journey back in 2017-18, and eventually this data I intentionally kept only for 2023. We have done a lot of improvement and we have opened up our blockchain to integrate through API or CSV file to integrate and download and upload data from any of the existing PLM or ERP system. So during this area, if you can see that starting from 2017, when it was only a paper solution for the paper industry, that now it's really robust and beatable solution for the textile industry. Not only of the cotton area, but we are also capturing the market in terms of recycled polyester, nylon, polyamide, leather. We have done very recently a wool pilot in Australia. So those are the area that this technology easily already installed and available in the market. So this is a handheld scanner which empower entire supply chain to trace and verify on the real time. In the synthetic world, like if you are using any synthetic DNA tracer, you have to wait for the sample pulling to send to the laboratory in Singapore or rather in European Union, and you have to bear a lot of cost related to transportation and then to wait another week. So just to get a verification whether those material is really sustainable or not. Our technology gives you this information within 30 seconds, that whether this product is coming from the right source or not. So on like the fiber traces reduce the risk and build trust and support, that already I had covered. And this technology, most of the part we had, that was the part of nanotechnology, it's already covered. The pigment identifier, it's a nanoparticle 1.5 to 2 that are added into the raw material. It's a very limited and very cost effective in terms of adoption and in terms of integration. It is easy to install. So pigment installation is the 3 stages. Like we are not recommending the center one option as the yarn application just because of to maintain integrity. We wanted to adopt this technology at the raw material, either at ginning level or form level, or in synthetic at the master level, master batch level. This scanner does the work like real-time verification for the multiple signature that a particular product will contain. It's read the signal and that send the signal to the platform whether these materials come from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Brazil, US or Australia. At the same time, this scanner does the work of dilution. For example, any product gets diluted on the production floor, this scanner will catch the dilution ratio and it will send the signal to the rest of the supply chain. For example, by mistake, I'm not saying that anybody have done intentionally, by mistake in the spinning, lot will exchange to marked fiber to unmarked fiber. When the fabric supplier will conduct an audit, he will see the dilution of the marked fiber into the yarn. And the similar way, the brand will know that there is a dilution, there is a mixing of unauthorized material in that product. At the same time, this scanner does record the geolocation. So this is give an extra layer of authenticity whether the product is being produced on the same location which was approved or not. So we are building a really robust and unbeatable supply chain solution where the supplier and their supplier and their buyer will have more visibility and access to the information. So this is the platform. It's look like very similar to other any platform, but the value addition of these are the platform will have only the identification of the verified unit. So where those products are being processed and produced, that will turn into green. If the audit will happen somewhere else, that location turn into different color, and from there brand will know that this product was produced elsewhere. So the solution is from farm to source to store. It's a similar topic I had covered. So these are the areas that we are working. I had already mentioned that our software is easy to integrate with any of the existing software. So here we are. We represent most of the supply producing country. We do have operation in US, Brazil. We do have operation in India. We do have operation in Togo. In fact, last year I was in Benin to integrate this fiber trace technology for the Benin cotton industry. This year we have done very high level scale deployment in China. Australia is our base country. We are, since our inception back in 2017, we are operating from Australia. So we are going to, last couple of years we are marking Indian organic cotton, regenerative and better cotton program. This year inshallah from Pakistan, we would be launching more than 4,000 ton cotton that will have that will be under better cotton program and regenerative program. So that is a kind of cooperative farming that we are doing in some certain part of Punjab and Sindh province. So these are the brand partners. We have like a Target, TVH, Country Road, VF, Reformation and Patagonia. So that is the last slide of my presentation. Fiber integrity isn't just a thread, it's a fabric of change. So thank you all. If anybody have any question, I'm open. Thank you.
Okay, if my final call for Dr. Khalid Mahmood, if you're here. If not, I'd just like to thank all the presenters for their wonderful insights into their subject specialisms. Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Now I will request our session chair, Ms. Professor Price Smith, to please move forward for the certification to our respected speakers.
Dr. Kerry Sheridan from Northumbria University, United Kingdom.
Please come on stage.
Mr. Suhail Ali Nakvi from WWF Lahore.
Please cheer with us, everyone. Mr. Mia Sajil Suhail from Green Story, Pakistan. If he is available. Then we have Mr. Muhammad Abdullah from Elevate. Mr. Imran Asghar from Fiber Trace. Lastly, to present Shield to our respected session chair, I would like to request Dr. Joshua Gagwa from Moi University, Kenya, to please come on stage and present certificate to our respected session chair. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move to our next session without any break. There is walk-in tea stalls outside the main hall, so you can have it. But there is no tea break for now.
It's time for today's last session of 4th International Conference on Knowledge-Based Textiles, Ickt-2025, which will be chaired by Professor Dr. Zishan Khatri from Mehran University of Engineering and Technology, Jamshedpur. Please put your hands together for Professor Dr. Zishan Khatri.
So now we hand over this session to you.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. From the Shahis of University in New York, I'm privileged to chair this session and thank you very much. So we begin with the keynote speaker. We have today Dr. George from Moi University, Kenya. He will be speaking on market survey of banana fiber products, consumer awareness, sustainability, tourism, and policy recommendations. So let's welcome. You have 15 minutes to conclude. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, and my congratulations to NTU, and ICKT, Professor Yasir, and all the others. Let me not continue because I may miss out on some people. So I'm very happy, indeed we are very happy. We've come all the way from Africa. Some of us will travel 24 hours, some 36 hours, depending with the layover. But we are happy to be here. For me, it's my second time for this conference. So I'll present my topic today, which is market survey for banana fiber products, consumer awareness, sustainability preferences, and policy interventions. Allow me to request that we had expected that this session will come after another session, which was to be by the Banatex project lead, which will have laid a good foundation for this work. But somehow there is a change, so you will bear with me. But this project is done under the Banatex project, which is looking into value addition of banana fiber in Kenya, Uganda, and Pakistan. So today I'll be looking at, I will do some activities which are listed there, allow me not to read through. And we've done some desktop research, we've used some questionnaires, focus group discussions, site visits, and experiments. So in brief, when we look at banana farming, in Uganda, the central part, the center part, that is, the first country is Kenya, next one is Uganda, and I think most of you know the third one, which is Pakistan. So Uganda, banana fiber is food, it is table food, while in Kenya it is grown for not the main food, but for some food and for commercial purpose, and while in Pakistan it's for local consumption and export. Some of the major challenges are there are some diseases, and because in Pakistan there is some irrigation, so there is the issue of water scarcity. I'll move to the products, whereby in Kenya we have a lot of hand-woven textile products, and the same as in Uganda. But in Pakistan we have a bit of more innovations, and that is one of the reasons why we are working with them, and that's why also we are here. So in brief, banana fiber industry in Kenya, we have the hand-woven textiles, we have some kind of ropes and baskets, a bit of paper, and a little bit of sanitary pads here and there, just a bit, not so much. Then in Uganda also we have a lot of handcrafts, we have ropes, we have some maybe eco-friendly sanitary pads, then we have some hair wigs and extensions. In Pakistan, we have the handmade papers, and one of the major areas that Pakistan is really good at is the textile application. They are moving on to have things like t-shirts, jeans, and we have a lot of biodegradable compost material. Then, one of the things that is bringing us here is the synergy in Kenya, Uganda, and Pakistan, where we have a lot of technology and knowledge transfer. Then we have a lot of markets, linkages, and trade expansion. We have joint R&D, and then there is a lot of possibility for us to look into sustainability. In brief, when we look at the banana stem, it has a lot of uses, but we will really look at the banana fiber, whereby we have something like 1.5 to 2% yield. This is because all the three countries are using the mechanical method of extraction. I have data for Kenya and Uganda and the potential for fiber production, and you can see that the one in Kenya is slightly lower than the one in Uganda. Uganda is far much more higher, but these two countries produce a good size. There is a good potential for banana fiber. These fibers, as I've said, the extraction method is mostly mechanical method. And then we have some challenges, like maybe the type of extractors, the machines. The fiber yields are not so good, and there's a lot of waste. Fiber quality is still a big issue. Then we have the issue of worker safety, and there's the issue of training. So all these are some of the challenges we have. And in the Banatex, we are looking into the issue of innovation. What can we do together with maybe NTU and any other researchers for us to be able to work on these challenges? Now, when you look at the properties of banana fiber and cotton, there is a lot of flexibility and there is a lot of complementarity. So, NTU has moved into the issue of blending cotton and banana. Maybe one of the reasons is that the cotton spinning system is quite common in Pakistan and the rest of the world. So if you have a blend that works in the cotton system, it is going to be easy to, let's say, commercialize. But going back to the products, when we look at the product point of view, we have the issue of the banana fiber, mostly like in Kenya and Uganda. We have the handmade products, we have the hair wigs, and some of these products are produced by a company that is here, Expert. And allow me to call this like appropriate technology, to use a very polite word, but the right word is that it is like low-level technology. I'm saying polite because I have my African friends here. When I say low level, they might stone me. So allow me to use the word appropriate technology. But really, the world is moving into the high tech or a slightly higher innovation, and this is still middle level, whereby we come into the garments. but the high-tech ones will be like the nanotechnology and the others. So allow me still to give the situation. I say this is the low level, but in Kenya, we have like a company called Mifuko Bags. We had site visits to this company. They have 25 full-time workers. They have over 400 women that are working on this project. And they produce about 1,500 pieces of baskets per month. And they are mostly exported to Europe, mostly to, let's say, Netherlands, and they are sold all over Europe. This is quite a business for this company, but there are some problems. One of them is one of the baskets. I've come with one from Mifuko. This basket is made out of sisal. So the first problem we have is that when the ladies carry them, the sisal is causing abrasion on the fabric. So this is a hotspot, and the customers are really complaining. So one of the innovations that the Faratex project is doing is to use this weft side to use banana, which is much more softer and is causing less abrasion. So this is one of the interventions that the Faratex project is, let's say, doing by giving advice to this company. The other issue about this company, and we've done an LCA for them under a different project, is that the dyeing system is not friendly. They are still using very toxic chemicals, and they are causing some social problems, negative social impact. So again, there's the issue of trying to assist them and to guide them towards using more friendly dyes, natural dyes, or to use dyes that are less toxic. So you can see, as much as it is low-level technology, but it is impacting a lot of people, 400 people, around 500, that's quite a big economy. And this is direct, so there could be quite a lot of people that are affected indirectly. The other company that we've done on our site visit is called the Other Solution. They mostly grow bananas, and then they weave mats. So their mats are mostly sold into homes and the hotel and the hospitality industry. They have 12 full-time staff, and they have 25 farmers who are working on this. So some of their problems again deals with let's say dyeing. And although banana fiber is not so harsh, but they still have issues about harshness, so they are looking into softening it. And then one of the way forward that we have agreed with this company is to look into the life cycle assessment of this product, because they are looking into exporting into Europe, and the changes that are happening is that there will be need for this mass to have an LCA certificate or a product environmental environmental footprint, PEF certificate. So as Faratex project, we shall be working on that, and it will be a very good output. And last but not least, we have in an area called Murang'a County, there's a lot of bananas grown in this area. They are grown for food. Now these bananas, unfortunately, they are not, the stems are not being utilized to produce banana fiber. So Faratex has worked with these people. There's one farmer there who has bought a machine, and we are still trying to see how best they can be assisted. They have produced some fibers, and they are there. Unfortunately, they don't have any technology to let's say turn them into anything, not even into a simple mat. And so the Faratex project is trying to work with this farmer to try to see how best they can assist them. But this is the leading producing of bananas in the country. So if this farmer is assisted, they are going to use a lot of the banana stems, which are now going as waste. So apart from the site visit, we did some questionnaire, and we were able to reach 53 respondents. And mostly, this is at the beginning, so we've only been able to reach 87% Kenyans, and some Ugandans, about 9%, and only 4% Pakistani. So if you see me around trying to give you a questionnaire, please assist me. We want to bring up the number for the respondents from Pakistan. Ugandans, we shall be going there, and we shall be able to bring up the numbers. But roughly, for the people we have 61% female and 39% male. Now, these people, the age is that they are mostly young, 25 to 35 years, and then education, they are mostly bachelor degree and master degree, this forms over 50%. Then one of the questions that we are asking, how did you hear about banana products? So it seems most of it is coming from education and internet. This comes about well over 50%. So the internet and education resources are very important for people to know about the banana products. Then we're talking about how are they familiar with the banana products. So you can see 87% are mostly Kenyans. So they are talking about handcrafts, but the baskets, the mats, the home decors, and the hair extension. This forms well over 80%. Things like t-shirts is a very small percent because this is not very common in Kenya. Then, one more question we asked about the policy. Of course, I'm giving a summary. So, most people believe that there is need for the policy to be changed so that there can be more adaptation of the banana product. So there is the issue to do with policy, and as I say, there were mostly 87% Kenyans, so this may be more about Kenyans, but I think as we get more people, we might get some idea. Now, the Banatex project is going to move, and we hope we can move towards the issue of let's say, treating the banana fiber with sodium hydroxide and the enzymes. And then we shall be looking into things like dyeing of the fiber, making of non-woven, weaving, and spinning. And I think with that, we hope we'll be able to do a good job. And we welcome you to, let's say, talk with us about the Banatex project. We are here quite a good number of us, about 5 of us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. You're finishing timely, and it's such a wonderful product you have shown. Let's now welcome another speaker. If you have any question regarding this, we can pick up just one question, but unfortunately we are running out of time. So I would suggest if we have a question at the end of the session. Thank you very much. So let's now welcome another speaker, Dr. Edwin Kamala. Is he or she is here? No? Okay. So we move on to another one. So now let's welcome Mr. James Beyond Moss. Okay. He is a founder of Manasafi Fiber Limited, Kimbau, Kenya. His expertise is fiber extraction as a waste management solution for the production of pineapples. So let's have a good sound together. Mr. James Beyond Moss. So you have 10 minutes to conclude your presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. And I know it's late in the day, but hopefully I can keep you interested in pineapple fibers. My name is James Boyd Moss, and I'm here representing Mananasi Fiber Limited from Kenya. So just next door to our Ugandan friends over there. And our project is supported by the Sustainable Manufacturing and Environmental Pollution Programme, as well as UK International Development. And so what am I here to talk about? And it's really fibre extraction as a waste management solution for the production of pineapples. And a lot of what's been said today has been to do with the sustainability of the textile industry itself. And here what we find is the agricultural industry leaning on the textile industry as a means for its own sustainability. And so what's the problem? Well, the pineapple industry generates a huge amount of biomass, which is a waste product. And to give you an idea of the scale, a pineapple plant weighs about 5 kilograms. And on a hectare of land, you can plant about 70,000 pineapples. So at the time of harvest, you're pulling up about 350 tons of raw material that's just sitting there in the field. And the conventional means of disposal has been burning. So what's happened is those plants have been knocked to the ground, they're left to dry in the sun, and then they're incinerated. And in the process, it's releasing 70 tons of CO2 per hectare. And that smoke obviously drifts into neighbouring communities, and it's an environmental disaster as well as an issue for the surrounding communities. From a production point of view, it's also suboptimal in the fact that to dry that material can take up to 6 months. And so you've got a field that's sitting there for 6 months without generating any income, and it's a loss of productivity. And then of course what I'm going to get onto is that there's an opportunity loss as well. That material has some inherent value, and it's just being incinerated. And so what we're looking to is we're looking to the textile industry in a way that we can generate some value out of that material that justifies its recycling. And the solution is fiber extraction. So that waste material, it contains about 3% fiber. What we can realize realistically is about 1.5 to 2% is what we can actually get out of the material, and it's extracted mechanically. So it goes through a machine. We've developed an automatic decorticator. It's conveyor fed. The leaves get fed into the machine. Leaf pulp comes out one side and pineapple fiber comes out the other. And the only thing that we add is water, and that cleans the green residues off the fibers. And these fibers they're slightly coarser than cotton, but they can be used, and they have been demonstrated to be used in the textile industry. And of course, they're coming from a very low impact source. So at the same time as serving the production of pineapples or the pineapple industry, we're also looking to provide a very environmentally friendly raw material for the textile industry. And then at the same time, we're able to go into the field immediately after the pineapples have been harvested, and we can extract that material immediately, which means that the farm can get on to planting their next batch of pineapples, reducing the fallow period and increasing productivity. So a little bit more about our production. So what we do is we go into the field and we harvest this material out of the field. So those 70,000 plants per hectare, they're all uprooted by hand. The leaves are chopped off, bundled into these bundles. Another interesting part of our process is that we use the drip line irrigation that they use to irrigate the pineapples to bundle the leaves. And this is a manner in which we can pull agricultural plastics out of the field at the same time that we're pulling the organic material out as well. It then goes into this decortication process that I've mentioned earlier. The fibers are then dried in the sun, which is quite an important part of the process because it bleaches the fibers. They're then brushed in a process that refines them slightly. It removes some of the impurities, and it also softens the fiber. And then finally, they're baled for export. And so we look into the use cases, and Dr. Josvat mentioned a few of the use cases for banana, and it's very similar for pineapples. So we're making mats, which are very similar to the banana fiber mats that you saw, baskets. Pineapple fiber has been used very successfully in an alternative for leather. And then, of course, garments. So cottonizing the fiber, chopping it down such that its staple length can match that of cotton, and then incorporating it into yarns for textile manufacturing. And then onto our challenges, and I guess the biggest challenge with a lot of these alternative fibers is price. And it's trying to drive down the price of these fibers such that they can compete with cotton. And so to give you an idea, we're selling our fiber at the moment for around $7 per kilo, and I'm sure the likes of you that know about cotton, you'll know that that's almost an order of magnitude greater than that for cotton. And in order for these fibers to truly penetrate the market, we really need to drive those prices down. And so automation in terms of our own production, so that harvesting process needs to be automated. We also need scale. So, the estate that we're working on can produce about 1,700 tons of fiber per year. At the moment, to give you an idea of what we're producing around 100 tons a year of fiber. So there's an enormous potential for scale to bring that price down. And then market access. So for the pineapple fiber to actually integrate itself into the market, we need to make it compatible, and possibly the easiest way is to make it compatible with cotton. So it's this cottonizing process that I know our banana fiber friends from Uganda are also working on. But it's taking that pineapple fiber, chopping it up such that its staple length matches that of cotton, softening it, and then integrating it into the existing infrastructure for producing cotton-based fabrics. And that's where we come here to Pakistan, because this is where all of the expertise is in that regard. We know all about what we need to do in terms of getting the fiber out of the leaf, but in terms of preparing it to make a textile, this is where the experts are. So yeah, if you can lend us a hand in that regard, or if you have any questions, it'd be great to hear from you.
Thank you very much for kindly finishing your talk. It was a wonderful talk. Thank you very much. So, although we have lots of questions, but we have a lack of time, so we have to move on to our third speaker. So our next speaker is Ms. Bushra Mushtaq from National Textile University. She will be speaking on enzymatic and chemical degumming of sisal fiber. Her expertise in enzymatic and chemical degumming of sisal fiber for textile applications. So over to you, Ms. Bushra Mushtaq. You have 10 minutes to conclude your presentation. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Bushra Mushtaq from National Textile University, Faisalabad. Currently, the Alternative Fiber Research Group. I am doing PhD in alternative natural fibers, and our team work on different alternative natural fibers. The basic theme of our research is the use of agro-waste fibers. These fibers which are not used and wasted in the agricultural land, our purpose is to use these fibers and incorporate these fibers into the textile sector. Today the topic of my discussion is basically the processing of the sisal fiber to make this fiber spinnable, so that it can be easily incorporated into the textile sector. Initially, sisal fiber were used in different handicrafts, ropes, mats, sheets, etc. But this fiber is not used in the textile sector. But this fiber have a huge potential to be used in the textile sector, because it have a worldwide 2 lakh metric ton fiber were produced annually in the world. And the Brazil is the largest producer of these fibers. This means that the global sisal market have 1.27 million in 2022 and expected to reach $1.97 million US in 2032. So this fiber have production, but there are some limitations why this fiber is not used in the textile sector. The main reason is that this fiber have a coarse structure and stiff surface. So the main thing which we have done, we have to remove the coarseness or the roughness of these fibers. Different treatments were used to tackle this problem. But the first question is that why we have to use this fiber in replacement of cotton? There are some economical, some social economical factors. The firstly is that if we talk about cotton is a large water consuming crop. Approximately 7,000 to 29,000 liters of water is required to grow 1 kg of cotton. But if we talk about the sisal fiber, it requires only 300 to 500 liters water per kg to grow the sisal fiber. Secondly, in the worldwide, the pesticide, 16% of the pesticide were used only on the cotton crop. But this sisal plant is naturally resistance to insects and pesticides, so no pesticide is required to grow this plant. Secondly, we can say that the cotton farming requires a lot of water and pesticide which can degrade the soil, but the sisal fiber conserve the soil conservation or reducing the soil erosion. So we can say that sisal requires less processing and resources than cotton. It also reduces the carbon footprint. Economically, the production of sisal produces many jobs in rural developing nations. The issue, as I have discussed earlier, the issue is that the cotton fiber contains 99% cellulose. But if we talk about the sisal fiber,
You can see that it contains cellulose 71.5%. All the other materials are the gummy material, which make this fiber stiffer and coarser nature. So the main thing is that we have to remove these impurities so that the cellulose content is increased and fiber and the component that impart harshness will remove from the fiber structure. So different techniques were used to eliminate this fiber. These techniques called the degumming treatment. Initially, chemical treatment were normally in practice to reduce these non-cellulosic impurities from the fiber content. But the sustainability challenges are just that we have to use the method of degumming that is also sustainable. Although this fiber is sustainable, but we have to we have to process this fiber in such a way that the method is also sustainable. So the chemical degumming method was also introduced. We have processed this fiber through the chemical degumming process. This process firstly starts from the fiber extraction. The fiber extraction technology is patented by the National Textile University, Faisalabad. This machine was developed by Pakistani National Textile University. The sisal leaves were collected from the Agriculture University and the fiber were extracted through the fiber decorticator machine. The fiber extracted have the then further processed through the enzyme and chemical. Two different methods are used to compare which method is best and give the best result to remove these non-cellulosic components. In this method, the sisal fibers were treated with hemicellulase enzyme, amylase enzyme, pectinase enzyme. And in chemical treatment, these fibers were conventionally treated with the NaOH. After the treatment, the fibers were dipped in the solution for 4 hours and 8 hours. Then the fibers were washed with the normal water to neutralize the pH. Then the fiber were tested. Different characterization were characterized to check the quality of the fibers or to check the removal of the non-cellulosic component from the fiber structure. Here are some results. Here you can show the SAM images of the fiber. The first one is the raw sisal fiber. The lignin content and the non-cellulosic gummy material were shown here that will bind the fibers together. But in the second picture, the enzyme degumming and in the third, the chemical degumming treatment shows that although both treatments remove the non-cellulosic components and the gummy materials, but shows that enzyme degumming treatment remove the gummy material, but the chemical degumming treatment also affect the fiber integrity. The fiber structure was also disturbed because the harsh chemical treatment also affect the fiber integrity. So we can easily compare that the enzyme degumming treatment is better than the chemical degumming treatment, and also the enzyme method is the sustainable method for the degumming treatment. After that, we have checked the chemical composition of the fiber. As we talk about the initially sisal fiber contain the cellulose content 76.5%, but the best treatment when we treat the fiber with the pectinase enzyme, we have reached the cellulose content of 83%. It means that this content was increased when the non-cellulosic components were removed from the fiber structure. Similarly, you can see that the lignin content was reduced. Lignin content in the raw fiber was 11.5%, but after treatment it will 6.8%. And the alpha cellulose content was 63%, and after treatment it will 66.9%. And the hemicellulose content was also reduced 13.1 to 9.2%. There is another important aspect is the fiber linear density, which is directly related with the fiber fineness. Basically, these fibers are coarse fiber, that's why they were not used in the textile sector. But if we you see that the raw fiber have the linear density of 147 denier, but the best sample that we have achieved after the treatment is the having the linear density of 55%. You can say that it will also reduce the more than half percent. And the other important aspect is the moisture regain of the fiber. Because the textile, when we wear, we must have to say that this product or this fabric must have the moisture regain or moisture wicking properties so that we can feel comfortable when we can wear it. So initially the raw fiber have the moisture regain of 10.5%, but after the removal of non-cellulosic component that will resist the absorbance of the moisture were removed, the moisture regain of the fiber were almost 12%. And the other thing is the fiber strength. We talk about this characteristic of the fiber which is directly related with the durability of the fiber. So when we mix with cotton fiber, it will increase the durability of the fabric, because you can see that the fiber have almost 38 cm per text fiber strength and the elongation of 1.29%. Its elongation is also better than cotton and its strength is also better than cotton. Although it have coarseness is higher than cotton, but it will also impart strength and elongation in the final fabric structure. At the end, we conclude that this study investigates the impact of chemical and enzymatic treatment on sisal fiber to produce spin-able textile grade sisal fiber. Basically, the purpose is to make them spin-able. The mechanical and hygroscopic properties of the fiber were increased by enzyme treatment, particularly with the pectinase. Different enzyme treatment were used, but the pectinase enzyme gave the best result. The pectinase treated exhibit highest tenacity 38.47 cm per text and elongation of 1.29 mm, demonstrating increased strength and flexibility in comparison to the raw sisal fiber, which have the strength of 20.64 and elongation of 1.04. Also, there was a reduce in the linear density from 147 denier to 55 denier. Fiber which treated with NaOH show lowest elongation, although NaOH remove the non-cellulosic impurities, but it will also reduce the fiber strength because it will disturb the fiber integrity. At the end, I will say my thanks to our fiber research team. You can contact us for any query, for any alternative fiber solution. This is our contact information. Thank you so much. If you have any question, I am available here.
Thank you, Mishra, for such a nice presentation. We may pick one short question from our audience. Thanks.
Thank you. Can you bring the slide where you have comparison of water? Because you stated like cotton requires 7,000 to 20,000 liter
Water per kg.
per kg. That's not correct.
Okay.
I'm a cotton expert. I'm a cotton farmer. My background is I'm a delegate member of International Cotton Association as well. So I'm in Ickt preliminary group member as well. My company, Sourcery, is involved in the cotton cultivation globally. So these data is not correct at all, even though that Ickt had published a video related to cotton utilization. My own personal experience when I was doing organic cotton in Balochistan region, that I only use 1300 liter water to produce 1 kg of water. Another thing is that if you see the water availability in Pakistan per head, the data you are showing like 7,000 liter, that's also not matching to each other. So we don't have a water in the peak season. So these data you need to correct. You need to re-verify where you got this data. It's not correct at all. That's only I wanted to tell you. that it's a fake information was published a couple of years back just to create a fear factor to the globally and to gain some investment. So we have to promote authentic data.
Thank you, sir, for your recommendation. I will definitely check it
Thank you.
and
Thank
correct
you.
it. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your suggestion. Okay, now let's thank you for your presentation. Now we have to move on to our fourth speaker. Let's appreciate her for the topic. Okay, now we have next speaker, Mr. Motori Kiwani. Please excuse me if I'm not, my accent is not, I'm not pronouncing now. He's from TaxFed Uganda and director. He will be speaking on empowering Uganda banana farmers, successes and challenges in fiber extraction. The case of banana tax EA. So over to you, sir. I would appreciate if you could conclude in 10 minutes, please.
Okay, I'll do my best to do that. Thank you, and thank you for coming to me. I'm going to be quite fast. I'm going to address the successes and challenges of fiber extraction in Uganda, and also to inform you that Uganda is the largest banana growing country in Africa, and also ranks around the top 5 banana producing country in the world. So we produce a lot of bananas, between 9 to 10 million metric tons every year, and we consume most of it because, again, we are the largest banana consuming country in the world. We consume between 0.6 to 1 kg per person per day because banana is our staple food. We cook, we eat as a dessert, we roast, and we also add value in terms of juices and wines. Now, banana is not so well known as a source of textile or having potential for textiles. It has very basic economic opportunities in the country, and this is the niche that we saw as TaxFed, and we started adding value by extracting the fiber from the stem and trying as much as possible to make products out of it, so that we can move from these basic economic activities that currently the communities around banana growing areas are using. So the challenges that we see in Uganda, this huge production capacity comes with a lot of wastage. There's a lot of banana stems that are lying on banana grounds, plantations, unutilized, and this became a concern, and TaxFed picked it up and started developing a strategy for extracting and value addition. Even the collection points where the bananas are aggregated before they get to the towns for marketing, there's a lot of waste that is generated there that can be added value through extraction to make fibers which can be used for textiles. Now, the case of TaxFed comes from far. I may not go so deep in this, I have very few minutes, but we do move around with trucks, collect the stems from the banana growing areas. We have banana fiber decorticator machines, which we designed ourselves, and we have around 10 of them distributed to various farmers, and these farmers extract the fibers and supply to TaxFed to a tune of 1,200 kilos of banana fiber supplied to TaxFed every month, which is actually quite low as per our demand. That fiber is spun by hand, and we make those kind of hand-spun yarns. This yarn is becoming famous in the cottage industry, in the handcraft industry, and that forms one of our basic marketing areas for it. The waste that we generate from the fiber extraction and the various products that we make is also added value to make handicraft and also makes paper. Those are part of our major products. We are the largest manufacturers of hand-woven carpets from banana fibers in East Africa and probably in Africa. And we have quite a large market. We have a staff size of 40 weavers who work with on a daily basis. Now, we have moved on to look at industrial applications of banana fiber, and we have picked interest, a lot of interest in a number of things. First, we have developed hair extensions. You know, in Africa, most of our women there like extending their hairs, they like braiding their hairs with synthetic fibers. We are trying to change this narrative into bringing, through bringing natural remedies. So we have developed successively banana fiber hair extensions which are biodegradable, and we already have a basic market in the UK where we are shipping in small quantities before we build capacity to be able to build up that industry. We have also introduced this fiber in various universities, those universities that do fine art and also engineering universities, and we are also testing the fiber in various applications. Now, pertaining the Banana Tech project that brings us here, we are here to see that our challenges that involve low linkage between the universities and private sector are handled. Challenges where the researches are done at the universities and they are never commercialized. We want to see that this is handled so that we in the private sector can be able to benefit from the researches that are done at the university. And also to encourage the students to pay more attention to banana fiber as an area of research and come up with quite a number of commercial products which can be offloaded to the private sector. We have come up with some few models of banana fiber extraction, and this model here is mobile banana fiber extraction model. A model that involves an extractor moving from one plantation to another plantation, extracting fibers and then aggregating that fiber to a central treatment place where it can now be added value. The second model is where the banana fiber extraction units are deployed in banana growing areas and allocated or linked to various villages within that area, where the villagers now bring in the stems into the extraction units, and these are extracted and then taken to the processing area. The third model is where the farmers create cooperatives or groups, and these groups are given the equipment and also they identify a processing center where they bring in the stems as a cooperative or a farmer group, and then these fibers are extracted from there and then taken to a treatment center and also further to the textile mill. Now, Banana Tech has helped us to bring the private sector, the universities, the standard organizations, and also development partners together to be able to address this. And we have developed a model that brings us together so that we can be able to cooperate and coordinate our activities within the banana fiber industry that is already picking pace in the country. Now, this involves bringing together the universities, and currently we have Moi University, Technical University, those two are in Kenya, and then we have NTU in Pakistan, and we have Busitama University, all involved in this commercialization of banana fiber. And then we have the banana fiber farmers themselves. These farmers, we have mobilized them a tune of 82 farmers, and we are still continuing this exercise of mobilization so that we can map out the farmers who will be supplying the project. And then, of course, we have the SMEC, which is funding the project, and also a Standards Bureau, which is looking into the quality of the fibers that we are producing and also the products that we shall be producing. And all this gets into the implementing partner, who is Texford, to be able to add value through softening and again accessing technologies from NTU. So our recommendations are that we strengthen these collaborations between private sector and the universities, and we continue to create opportunities for internship and student engagement in private sector. We continue to encourage students to take up researches in banana fiber processing and also create a model for commercializing these innovations or research findings by students, because currently we find that is a gap. We find students are doing a lot of innovations at the university, but they are not commercialized. And these students also, when they finish the university, they go out there looking for jobs. Well, they left their jobs at the university, and we are finding that is a problem within our universities in East Africa. So if there would be a model of the students commercializing their innovations or their research finding into a business, and they support towards that, probably through incubators, through accelerators or other startup support services, I think we would have a better, we would increase the livelihoods of these people. So I want to thank you so much, and in case of any questions, you can get in touch with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your talk. Okay, now we move on to our last speaker of the session. I would like to invite Mr. Godias Tumusime. He is from Busitima University, Uganda. He will be speaking on unlocking the potential of banana stem waste for sustainable fiber production in Kenya, Uganda, and Pakistan. So over to you, Mr. Godias. You will now 10 minutes to conclude. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm called Godias Tumusime from Uganda. I'm here on this project facilitated by SMED. As my colleagues have mentioned, under the same project of Banatex, here we are trying to do unlocking the potential of banana stem waste for the fiber production. Basically, like for me, where I come from, banana is a staple food where you would take morning, evening, and you are ever eating banana. So it was measured about the fruit, not about the fiber. Basing on this, we are looking at how you can get the fruit and get again the fiber. So here it was about the questionnaire, designing the questionnaire, and understanding from the farmers what is their perception. This is between the Kenya, Uganda, and Pakistan. For the Pakistan, we have not rolled out to different farmers, but at least we have some information or the results from Uganda and Kenya. At least when you check what they have been, my colleagues have mentioned, we can see that in the production or banana growing here, we can see that Asia, where Pakistan is, Pakistan, where you have the production is high, and second is Africa, meaning that as we get the fruit, as we get the banana, we can get more fibers, and we look maybe the substitute about the cotton. I think I have also the background in cotton, where I learned about, I did some diploma in ginning, and we can see that most of the times we have been talking about cotton. Now we can talk about the banana fiber. You see the production. Basing on this, how people have been producing, we can see that at least from 2017, a lot of bananas have been produced, and this means that a lot of fibers can be bought, and we can sustain the production. For the respondents, there were about 68, which were rolled out to give us the views, and in this, 36 from Kenya, 32 from Uganda, and it was seen that mostly the biggest percentage were female. That means that the women take a big part, and since it was more about the food crop, that means that more men were involved in this. And about the age group, 31 to 45, they are the ones who participated in this. And the people who have tried to grow cotton is that those people who have attained at least some some secondary education are able to grow some banana and they can cultivate. So the pseudo stems basically they are for some place like where we have heard about the tex part, where they extract some fibers. Some regions they use them for feeding the cattle, can feed during the dry seasons, and for mulching, leave them to dispose in their gardens. So, and about the benefits, we can see that there is a reduction they are biodegradable, meaning they can add value in the garden. And we see that those farmers have got challenges, and in these challenges is that some farmers, they grow banana and they don't know that you can use these banana stems for other things like banana, for like the fiber, and they lack awareness about that. They have no extractors. The extractors which are there provided by Texfat, which are limited compared to the number where they grow a lot of bananas, and that means that they have limited access of some of the banana stems, or the ones which we want to do with extraction. In conclusion, is that around this, the percentage where we have the 54% of the farmers who are female, the 45 are male, and we saw that the land, the acreage is small, and these were rolled near to the where we have the tax fund. That means that they are near the cities where you cannot have the chunk of land. That means that the acreage is small. And for the recommendation is that by the end of maybe the project, the Banetex sponsored by SMEP, is that the farmers will have that access and will be fully involved in participating and understanding this, that they can get the fibers in the dyeing for the production. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. We can have one question from the audience. No? Okay, you have one question? Quickly, please. The audience are in online, so they can hear you.
Okay. I just want to ask that while extraction of banana stem, the pulp is, the remaining is the liquid. Do you utilize that liquid in the fields or not when you extract the fiber? I'm a horticulturist here in Sindh, and we grow banana. I work with the community of farmers in Sindh, and we have also given this machine. There's a lot of waste issue as well we are suffering after extracting the. So maybe I missed the presentation or what. So if you have any solution for that, you can share your experience in your garden.
Okay, thank you so much. Basically what we are trying to do on that waste, I think even under this project, we have got some students we are supporting. They are trying to see how to come up with some kind of fertilizers, because as I mentioned, is that previously the farmers have been getting those stems as mulches and all that, but now we are coming up with that. We get those stems, we extract the fibers. That means that we are taking what they anticipated as their mulches. So now we are trying to come up with a project, an innovation that we can come and make some fertilizers to support for them, the organic fertilizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's appreciate this presentation. Now, with the last presentation, we have just now received the list. So there's Dr. Oais Raza Siddiqui from NET Chemistry. So let's please come on the stage. He will be speaking on computational analysis of plain weft knitted fabrics for the study of air permeability and thermal conductivity. Over to you, Dr. Oais. You have 10 minutes to conclude, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Dr. Oais. I'm working as an associate professor in textile engineering department at the university. Today I'm going to explain the topic, which is computational analysis of plain weft knitted fabric to study the air permeability and thermal conductivity. So the research methodology is basically, if you want to test the fabric, like for the thermal comfort, where you have to test on the instruments. And if you want to increase the thermal comfort, you have to develop a number of samples. So there is another way you can create all these virtual models on the software and optimize the result, because it's done before the prior to the production. So it will reduce the cost and it will reduce the wastage and it will reduce the time. So this is the effective process. All over the world they are using the computational model to analyze before any production process. So in our methodology, we have to develop like the 3D computational model of plain web-knitted structure, and these web-knitted structure is comprises of the yarn, and these yarn is comprises of the fiber. So the first stage in our computational modeling, we have to develop the computational model of yarn. For that purpose, we need to like do the SEM of the yarn, and while we are doing the SEM, we try to find out the diameter of the fiber, because the porosity is very important factor to determining the thermal comfort property. So by these SEM images, we can find the diameter, and we have taken different samples, and on average we find out the value, and we also calculate the diameter of the yarn. So the ratio of like the diameter of fiber divided by the diameter of yarn, it will give you the fiber volume fraction. So this particular property is required to determine the porosity of the yarn, and it will be used as the input parameter for the computational model. So we use the unit cell model. See this portion in the center of the unit cell, it represents the fiber, and the rest of the model is just air. So we used a boundary condition, like we have to determine the two different properties, and these properties are major for the thermal comfort pair. It's a thermal conductivity and air permeability. So in case of air permeability, like these models or these structures can be used to determine the effective thermal conductivity of the yarn, and also determine the air permeability of the yarn. So in case of the thermal conductivity, we have to apply the specified boundary temperature, and by applying the specified boundary temperature, we can find the thermal conductivity. This control shows the heat transfer like within the yarn structure, and there is a relation between the thermal conductivity and fiber volume fraction. Because if you increase the fiber volume fraction, it means that you increase the fiber content in the yarn and reduce the air content. So the thermal conductivity of the fiber or yarn will increase, and this relation is supporting this argument. And this is the another relation, which is like the number of elements versus the thermal conductivity. It also a directly proportional relation. So the next phase, we have to validate like these models are like close to the real one. So there is a universal acceptable results which is coming out from these equations, which is a Glycan model, and these models are used to determine the relation between the predicted values and the universal value which is obtained from this equation. And this is the relation, and the coefficient of correlation shows there is a strong relation between these two methods, like the finite element methods and the empirical relation which was developed by the Glycan. So the next phase, we have to determine the fiber volume, we have to determine the air permeability of the yarn. For that purpose, the similar unit cell method is used, and we try to find out the air permeability and analyze the different factors with respect to air permeability. So we have limited time, so I will try to finish it as soon as possible. And this is the equation which is like Gebhardt model, which is used, which initially used to calculate the air permeability of any structure in the transverse direction. So we use the same formula to find out the air permeability of yarn, and compare this result with our predicted model, which also gives you the closed relation. This is the first stage of like developing the model of yarn, and the result which has come out from these models, we have to use it as an input parameter for the 3D computational model. The next stage, we have to develop a single jersey 3D computational model, and for that purpose we use the 9-point method, which is derived from the cores per centimeter and base per centimeters, and we develop these 3D models by using these 9 points. And these 3D models are developed by using the spline curve. We have to sweep the circular cross section across the spline channel of the yarn. So, but we have created the 3D structure here, and which is a solid in nature, so we already incorporate the porosity in the yarn structure. So the input parameter which we are using in this model, it's already occupied the porosity of the yarn. And these fabric, like this is the schematic view of the technique we are using here. See, we use the unit cell model here. We can use the whole computational model, but it's not a cost effective because we need a more memory. So we use the unit cell because if you want to determine the blood group of any human being, you don't have to take out all the blood. You have to take the sample, and sample will give you the results which is exactly the proportional of the population. So we use the unit cell and we applied the boundary condition, because in case of air permeability we have to apply the pressure difference, and then by using this pressure difference we can easily calculate the air permeability. Similarly, in case of thermal conductivity, we use the two different specified temperature, and we calculated the heat transfer, and this will give you the thermal conductivity of the fabric. And we extended this work to like some complex structure. We developed an interlock structure. This is the 3D model of interlock structure, and this is the complete isometric views of the interlock structure. And this is the rib structure. We also developed it. And we use the same technique for the thermal conductivity and same technique for the air permeability. We use the unit cell structures. And these are the results. This is the air permeability for interlock structure and rib structure, and which is very close to the like experimental results, which give you the absolute error which is less than 10%. So we can say that these models and experimental results are very close to each other. And this is the thermal conductivity of rib interlock fabric, and these are the values of thermal conductivity of interlock or rib structure, which gives the like absolute error which is less than the 5%. And we also predicted some different parametric effect on these fabric. These are the results, and we already like extended these things to the whole garments. Like you know, there are mannequins which are used to evaluate the performance of the fabric over the time. So we can develop a whole fabric or whole mannequin here, and we can apply the boundary conditions like the natural environment, and we can identify the results here. So this is the all from my side. If you have any question, you can ask me now, because this is the last. So I may take the questions now.
I really appreciate the pace you took. We wish we could have listened to you peacefully. Unfortunately, time constraints, we couldn't. So we can have one question from the audience, please.
Yes, thank you very much. That's some wonderful work. I'm curious, do you have any guideline, the consideration for an optimal unit for 3D, for the 3D model?
I can answer. Yes, because unit cell should be the representation of the repetition. Like for example, if you have a rubrics, so the simple unit in a rubrics is a small cube. If you use this cube and expand it in 3 dimensions, you will get a maximum size. So when we consider the unit cell, it should have the single loop. Like single loop, if you see this is the particular slide I will show you. This is the unit cell which contains complete loop. See, this is the loop here. And if you see this unit cell, the half portion is here, and this, because this single loop is a repetitive loop in the replicated structure. So it's basically a representation element volume, and this is the widely used techniques, and this represents the whole model. So if we consider a wrong unit cell, it will give you the wrong result. So the unit cell should be the representation of the whole fabric.
Thank you, Dr. Always, for a nice presentation. So it's now time to conclude, but before I rush into the conclusion, we have already 2 speakers early this session. So if you have any question from those 2 speakers, from the first one from Dr. Joseph, and the second speaker, Mr. James White. If you have any questions, so that we can answer that from the speakers. Okay, so it's time to conclude the session. The first speaker we had from Dr. Joseph. He spoke on synergies. He took the surveys from the consumer perspective. He showed about the data of the Kenya, Uganda, and Pakistan. So I was surprised to see the Pakistan data, since we have still lack of awareness about the banana fibers, the usage, and what kind of applications are there. So this is the reason that the percentage of outcome was very less from Pakistan. The second speaker was from Mr. James Ward Moss. He rightly spoke on pineapple, where it is about just like a sister fibers like banana fibers and jute. So he rightly mentioned, he was very honest that he spoke that the recovery of the fibers was just about 1 to 1.5%. I think this is the same story with the banana as well. So one of the audience she questions one of the speakers that the banana has the 2% recovery out of the waste, but the rest of the 98% is still a mass waste that we have to think of the utilization. So he spoke on the challenges about the automation, scale, and market access and prices. Of course, if we go for these all ports, then we have lots of prices issues as well. And then we had a third speaker, Ms. Bushra. She spoke on sisal fiber. Recently, Pakistan took an initiative, and I think it is very appreciated. The sisal fiber is now emerging in the market. Although there are some challenges, but I hope that in the near future, this will also make his space in the consumer shelf. And the fourth was Mr. Moturi Kimani. He was from TechSpad. He also spoke on banana fiber, and he also showed the challenges on the East Africa, especially about scaling. And then he recommended that small and medium enterprises should come into the whole consortium of the private sector and the universities and incubation centers. These are all the ideal, thinking, but it is very difficult to bring all these texts in one platform. So these are one of the reasons we are unable to take up these fibers into the market at a certain scale. And the fifth speaker who spoke on by Mr. Godias from Kenya, he also spoke on challenges by the farmers, the same stories as we are also facing in Pakistan. He spoke from Kenya, the challenges of the farmer. There were surveys, again there was a very less amount of response from the farmers. And again, the last but not least from Dr. Obes, it was entirely a different presentation. He spoke on the air permeability, porosity, and we know that the porosity and air permeability are very important properties of materials. But if you really successfully develop this model, I think you can also replace such expensive techniques which are being used. So I really appreciate your presentation. So these are all challenges, recommendation I will forward as a chair to the conference chair. So thank you very much for, let's appreciate and clap for the speakers. And also yourself that you sustained until the evening of this session. So thank you very much for this session.
Thank you so much everyone for being this patient, and thank you to everyone who participated in this session.
I would request our respected session chair to please move forward and present certificates to our respected session speakers. Firstly, we have Dr. Joshua Igarko from Moi University, Kenya.
So please come on stage.
Dr. Mohammad Fawaz Raza Siddiqui from NED. Mr. James Boyd Moss, founder of Manasi Fiber Limited, Kiambu, Kenya. Ms. Bushra Mustaq from NTU.
Mr. Mutri Kimani from TechSpad, Uganda. Mr. Gaudius Musni from Busitama University, Uganda. Now, to present a certificate to our respected session chair, I would request Professor Faisal Smith from Northumbria University, United Kingdom, to please come forward on stage. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was it for our today's conference. Tomorrow we will start at exactly 9:30 with 3 parallel sessions and 1 panel discussion. There will be a side event of reverse resource tomorrow exactly at 11 a.m. at IT department. Relevant people can join there. Thank you for your patience and thank you for being extremely nice with us throughout this event. We will see you all tomorrow.